On Friday, March the 13th, 2020, Pope Francis celebrated 7 years as leader of the world's Roman Catholics. 7 years is a significant number in biblical prophecy, and it seems more than coincidental that this anniversary was marked by a lockdown of Italy due to the coronavirus. In recent years, the Pope has made numerous overtures to leaders of the Islamic faith with a view to creating one world religion. The form that this religion would take is unclear, as the Pope has already expressed his interest in rewriting the Bible, also the Lord's Prayer. It is apparent that changing these things would fundamentally change the face of Christianity for the new religion, and it is possible that this is the intent of the Pope due to his globalist views. The Roman Catholic Church has already changed Christianity significantly. The Catholic Bible has a different set of 10 commandments to the original Torah or to the Bible used by Protestant churches. The second commandment, not to worship any graven image, has been deleted from the Catholic version, and the 10th commandment about covetous behaviour has been split into 2 parts to keep the number at 10. This is no doubt so that followers will not feel that they are breaking a commandment by praying to icons and statues of Jesus, Mary, or any of the other multitude of saints that serve Catholicism. A religion that unites Islam with Christianity will also need to discard the 3rd commandment, not to take the Lord's name in vain. Keeping this religion is a problem for any religion that justifies the murder of innocents by calling out that God is greater, or Allahu Akbar. The only difficulty that this grandiose scheme might encounter is the fulfilment of prophecy, because the prophets have already decreed that the arrival of the Messiah will unite the survivors of God's judgment into a single religion. In Zechariah, it predicts in chapter 14, verse 16, "It shall come to pass that every one that is left of the nations which came up against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of the tabernacles." It seems that everyone will be required to observe the Jewish festival of Sukkot, which Christians call tabernacles. Both Islam and Christianity have reinterpreted the Bible and have changed observances. Rome changed the Sabbath to Sunday, which was the day they already observed, to worship Jupiter, whose chariot purported to drag the sun across the sky each day. They incorporated Vestal virgins and celibate priests in accordance with their pagan observance, even though the Bible gives explicit instruction as to who a priest should marry. They decreed that Jesus was God, a fact that even Jesus himself denied in Matthew 19:17, when he said, "Why callest thou me good, when there is none good but one, that is God? If thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments." Which commandments did Jesus want his followers to observe? All of them. He warned in Matthew 5:17, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come but to fulfill." And in Matthew 5:18, For verily I say to you, that until heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or one tittle shall in any way pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Many have wondered when all will be fulfilled, but biblical scholars realize that the prophecies that have already eventuated both prove the reality of prophecy and indicate that the time of fulfillment is very near. The Irish prophet St. Malachi, who died in 1148 of the Common Era, made a surprisingly accurate list of the popes until Judgment Day, and he nominated Pope Francis as the last pope. A Jewish mystic and prophet predicted that Benjamin Netanyahu would be the leader to hand the keys of Jerusalem to the Messiah, and this prediction was made when Netanyahu was only a young ambassador. If these prophets are right, the final days are at hand. Many unrelated biblical events have unfolded to fulfill prophecies, and many of these in recent years. The collapse of the world economy seemed an unlikely prediction just a few short weeks ago, but coronavirus has changed everything in the blink of an eye. Only those who are blind to the predictions deny the possibilities, but that too has been predicted. We are warned that as in the days of Noah, it will come suddenly and unexpectedly. We have seen sudden changes happening in the last few weeks, and although it is estimated that the majority of the world's Jews will be in Israel by 2022, fulfilling the prophecy of the return, I would not be surprised to see the final redemption happen even before that date. August 10th, 2020 marks the 100th anniversary of the Turkish government renouncing its claim to Israel and recognising the British mandate. Throughout history, anniversaries such as this result in new events that reflect the original incident. The book of Revelation, chapter 18, predicts a collapse of trade as we're seeing today as a result of the coronavirus. Then will come the war of Gog and Magog, leading to the intervention of the God of Israel. An invasion of Israel will be successful for a time, but then Israel will prevail, not through force of arms, but through the will of God. In that day we are promised to see his wrath poured out on the nations of the world, earthquakes and tsunamis, and a shaking of the world such as man has never seen. Scriptures warn that it will come as a flood suddenly, all those final events occurring in only a couple of weeks. The world will be shaken to its core, and a day will no longer last 24 hours, but only 16 hours. This upheaval will see 2/3 of the population destroyed, but those who call on the Almighty will be saved. That is his promise given in the Bible.